Connecting bridge to false chain.
Bridget assets to make a gain. APR so high, so juicy. For the look like Gary Busey. EMP be flossing, tossing. 3650 with secret saucing.
Bridge, false chain. Bridge, BSC. Transaction status success. 69 block confirmations. 420 UTC.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. As always, I'm joined by my co-host with the most, and fellow team member, LA. LA, how are you? You're back.
I'm fantastic. How's everyone doing today?
Awesome. No, really good. We got a lot to go over today. It's going to be a longer AMA, so sit back, relax, strap in for the ride. Happy to have you back, LA. I know the last AMA we were dealing with some technical difficulties. LA was on the road, and it's hard to do it on my own, LA. I need you to be the comic relief and the wisdom, the knowledge base. So.
Well, I was on a long drive to visit family for Christmas, and I've had a lovely few days with fam, and I'm here and ready to roll. So let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we get started, just some housekeeping. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, smash that like button. Man, I can't talk today. Smash that like button, and again, the more engagement we have over here on YouTube, the more eyeballs on all of our projects, and the more ad revenue that goes right back into the protocol as even one more on top of many revenue streams. So, all right, lots to discuss. The top of the list is some super duper mega alpha that all of you have been waiting for, and that is the new white paper. So, LA, we released the V2 white paper over the weekend, and so far the feedback's been pretty good, right?
Yes, very good. I see a lot of excitement in the group, and lots of questions too. So we're definitely going to tackle all of those today. A lot of them are contained in the white paper, so it's always a good idea to read over things 2 or 3 times, but we're going to dive into all of it tonight and make sure everything's crystal clear so that we're all excited and pumped and ready to roll.
Perfect. All right, awesome. And yeah, we are gonna go over the white paper together, not in its entirety, but a lot of the major updates here in one more minute. So again, hang out, wait for the all the new. Again, today's title was new. Lots of new stuff happening. So before we jump in, though, I wanted to preface that everything that we say today and everything that's going to be covered in the white paper is reflective of what will be available in the Fusion MVP. So that doesn't necessarily mean it will be immediate. In other words, there may be a lot of things that don't happen immediately, But what's in the white paper again is what we're hoping is all contained in the MVP. So you won't find any additional details of things that are coming in the future or down the line. So we did this on purpose because the white paper already is pretty overwhelming, and we didn't want to have a 50-page white paper with every little thing that we want to have be part of Fusion over the next, 10 years. So we're trying to release it in chunks. And this V2 that is live now, I think is a great overview of the MVP. Again, MVP is minimal viable product. It's basically the light version of Fusion, but we'll be adding more and more features as we go. So, um, again,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Ella. You want to add to that? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that because a lot of the questions, excuse me, that we've been getting are about things that were on the previous version that are no longer on this one, or things that we've discussed that will be coming but aren't on this one. And so that's just a really important point to drive home.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that doesn't mean that we got rid of that idea or that we're not moving forward with that idea, but it doesn't make sense to, further convolute the white paper on features and information that isn't even relevant at the moment. So the white paper is a living, breathing document. We'll be updating it. There'll be, probably a white paper version, 20 eventually. So this is just the next step in, the process and getting everybody excited for what's to come. So, all right, I'm gonna pull up the white paper and then we can go through it a little bit together, LA. But anything else you want to add to that while I get
Yeah,
this up? Okay.
yeah, for sure. When we released the first version of the white paper, the comment that we got the most was that it was too confusing and it was hard to understand, and it was just really overwhelming because it's such a big change. And so when we went forward to create this new version of the white paper, what we were most cognizant of is keeping it as basic as possible and only containing the absolute necessities that you need to understand the version that is coming out the soonest. And so the MVP, when it comes out, everything that is contained in the white paper is what is going to be the very first version. And it's not that I'm going to do this big announcement every single time there's the littlest new feature added and that we're going to have this whole big release celebration of a new version of the white paper. But as we add new features, I'll just simply update it and update it on the site, and you'll be able to view it for your viewing needs. But we want to get we want to get the white paper, but we want to get Fusion out as soon as possible because we're just as anxious as you guys are. And then we have this amazing thing that once it is out, the development never stops. It's going to continue, and we're going to be able to continue to add more and more and more features. And as we do, we'll continue to update that white paper, basically.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely, LA. All right, I have it pulled up, and again, for those of you that want to, review this, it's part of our Get book. The link is on our website, and it's in Telegram as well. So, LA, do you want me to kind of go through? I mean, I don't think we have time to go through and read the entire thing word for word, but do you have a spot where you want me to start? Should I kind of give an overview? What do you think?
Um, just whatever you think is the most important. We can probably definitely skip through like the introduction and that kind of thing, but just kind of hitting some of the main important parts. Um,
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'll get started, and then again, just we'll kind of give a high level overview of each part, and then if anybody has any questions on top, we will be doing a major Q&A at the end from all of you that have already started with questions, but please type it in the live chat as well if there's something that we gloss over. So I think all of you are pretty familiar with how EMP Fusion will work. If not, we said it before, but EMP Fusion is very similar to the Sparkler protocol on Sparkswap, or contract rather, but on steroids, meaning even more robust. And the whole idea is that we are transitioning away from the inflationary a seigniorage model of the original EMP and more into a more sustainable model where EMP is actually deflationary and the entire platform is a glorified single asset staking ecosystem that rewards you in passive income. So, and that income is derived from real revenue streams. It's not, made up or inflationary, like a lot of other DeFi protocols are. So, again, long story short, you're going to single stake your EMP. We're calling it a sacrifice. That's something that we'll get into a little bit later too, for regulatory reasons, but it's very different than the typical sacrifice that you have heard of, because we're not locking up anybody's funds. The EMP is already in existence, first of all, and number two, the MVP will allow you to cash out of our ecosystem immediately. So again, we're not locking funds whatsoever. So and depending on how much you sacrifice into your central grid, which is the overall ownership of the protocol, you get a microgrid, which represents your ownership of the protocol. So, and your microgrid is essentially an NFT that is, for lack of a better word, encapsulated EMP. And, this is really important because not only, again, does it represent your ownership of the protocol, but it also determines how much of the real yield that you'll be getting, again, depending on the size of your microgrid. And on top of that, it can be sold. So you can sell your microgrid, which, again, is really important for people that want to maybe exit, or take profit. You don't have to sell all your microgrid at once. You can even break it up into smaller chunks. But this is so fundamentally important because you're selling an NFT that represents the EMP within it, but you're not actually selling EMP. So we're literally, eliminating sell pressure on EMP, which is super bullish and, gets rid of this prisoner's dilemma that we see not only with our original ecosystem, but we see in a lot of DeFi protocols, where one whale can just dump on all of our heads. So this is super bullish, for the sustainability and the future of what we're doing. And you still get exposure to Ethereum because that EMP again is represented within the NFT. So and your microgrid. So if anybody wanted to buy into the protocol, they have to either buy EMP off the market, and that at peg that makes EMP much more expensive than it is now, and it will correlate with the price of ETH. So if ETH, once we get back to peg, and ETH goes to $4,000, EMP will be $1 again. And so anybody new or coming in later on, they have to buy the microgrid off the market, or buy the EMP off the market, which again pushes the price up. So there's a lot of really unique mechanisms in place, um, and still allow you to maintain that exposure to ETH because we're all bullish on Ethereum. So, all right, that's a high level overview of central grid, microgrid. LA, anything else to that? I don't want to spend a ton of time, but I think that was a good high level.
No, I think that was great.
Okay. All right. Batteries, again, another very fundamental, important aspect of Fusion. LA, do you want to maybe just read this part because I think it's pretty important.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
EMP Fusion batteries are optional individual in-game add-ons that EMP investors can purchase to enhance each user's experience in their microgrid. Each battery is unique and comes with its own set of utilities, capabilities, and governances. You will not need a battery to sacrifice or get started in Fusion. However, once you're ready to start cashing out or take advantage of some of the other gamified features within the Fusion ecosystem, obtaining some becomes imperative. These unique and innovative add-ons will enhance your EMP investment experience while allowing you to create passive income streams from the energy rewards earned from the central grid.
Cool.
How do they work? Oh, do you want me to keep going? Or?
Yeah, so I just to add on to that, and then we can kind of just give a high level again on how they work. But again, I think it's really important people know what batteries are, so thank you. And yeah, so just to clarify as well, I didn't really go into it in the central grid and microgrid, but you're earning energy every day, and energy is a one-to-one representation of ESHARE, and ESHARE and energy will be the only transactable token in the ecosystem, which provides a ton of utility to that. And so what happens is, just like you earn eShare in the original EMP farms, you earn energy from your microgrid every single day. And that energy, again, can be stored in a battery, or the energy can actually be used to compound back into your microgrid through what we're calling the BBE function, or buyback and earn. So there's a lot of different ways to play. Again, this is a much more gamified system. It is a game. I mean, it's a financial game, but it is a game. And even us, the really cool part is, even us as the team, we don't really know the optimal strategies. And, I think that's really exciting because there is no insider info, there is no manipulation. It's all about how the community, min maxes their participation. So, like others said, batteries are not vital, but they are extremely important. Again, especially if you want to actually cash out. So there will be a cost associated with a battery, and you can also upgrade your batteries. So again, it'll be very affordable. Less than a nice meal out. And depending on how involved you want to be, you can get away with having just one battery type of each asset. And batteries there will be limitless options in terms of batteries. There will be a few that we roll out in the MVP, that allow you to cash out into some more mainstream assets. Again, Ethereum, stable tokens, partner projects, and as we continue to build and grow, batteries will also be a utility. Maybe adding to your detonator stakes, or other forms. Maybe a sparkler battery that adds to your sparkler. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things that we can do with batteries as we grow. But again, we didn't really go into too much of that because that will be for further white papers. But yeah, I think that's, again, and so that, just real quick to my point, eventually, if you're not if you're more of a passive participant, not an active participant, you can upgrade your batteries and make their capacity much larger. And so that incentivizes, again, people to stack their batteries. And it doesn't give them an unfair advantage in terms of yield, but it does make it a lot easier where, once your battery power cycles, which again, that's when your battery pays out, is when it fills up all the way and completes, again, what we call a power cycle. Then that's when you need to actually trigger that to get your rewards. But if you have a larger battery with a larger capacity, then maybe you only need to check it once a week or once a month. So again, it's really uh, tailored to your preference. And again, all the funds collected for batteries go right back into Fusion as a revenue stream. So Fusion itself is also a revenue stream, and will directly reward all of you that are participating. So, all right,
And
yeah, go ahead, Ellie.
oh, and on that note, we did some math on some preliminary math on our predictions for battery sales and stuff like that. And we were extremely excited about the future revenue for Fusion and where things are going. So
100%.
and that's based on batteries being incredibly affordable too. So don't get scared when I say that at all. It's just people are going to be really bullish on the gamification of Fusion.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree 100%. Again, some alpha I can drop. I mean, that was one thing we haven't included on purpose, which I'm sure we'll get to, is the actual price of batteries, just because we still need to do some mainnet testing and make sure the economics work. But we're talking tens of dollars, not hundreds of dollars. So, the volume for batteries alone could be a game changer in terms of, again, revenue to the protocol. So, all right, again, power cycle, I touched on it a little bit. That's basically how you're going to profit. Your battery fills up with energy. Once it reaches the capacity, it does a power cycle, and that's when you actually get paid out in ETH or whatever battery you choose. We are, again, just another bit of quick alpha. You will be able to have multiple batteries. Again, we're still waiting on a number based on testing and what the smart contracts can handle. We're hoping for at least 5, but my ultimate goal is to have batteries be somewhat limitless, where you could have 10 or 20 or even 100 that you just turn on and off at any given time, and that you only have, between 2 and 5 on, or 1 and 5, I should say, on at any particular moment. So, and there's another cool feature again, that you're able to choose how your batteries fill. So you could have multiple batteries that, fill one by one in succession, or you can have all your batteries activated and then they all fill at the exact same time. So again, that's part of the game theory on, what you would like to do and what makes sense for, your preferences. So, all right, I think that is, yeah, kind of like,
Well, just because of the diagram that's on there, just so there's no confusion, and based on a question that I received, you'll see that under the cash out batteries, under the different types of batteries, it says ETH and BNB. And that's like we said at the beginning, because those are going to be the two options that are immediately available right when Fusion gets launched. You've heard us talk on AMAs a number of times about other coins and tokens that will be available through cash out batteries. So that's not at all to say that there won't be other options, but I just want to make that clear again, that those ones listed currently on the white paper are just the ones that will be immediately available when we press launch, and there'll be more on the way, but those are the first two options.
perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, some of the things that we've alluded to may take, weeks or even months, but some maybe days. So just because, again, that ETH and BNB batteries are in the white paper, we can add USDT or a partner token within a matter of days. Again, just depending on the development schedule. So don't get worried or anxious. We're gonna have options for everybody. Um, and again, like I said earlier when she was reading about it, batteries also give utility. So not only are there cash out batteries, but there will be also batteries again that allow you to sell part of your microgrid. You will have to pay, to unlock that feature. Um, and then again, even like a battery bank that allows you to, save up some energy to use it again as part of the game theory in another way, or maybe again you're bullish on the price of ETH going up in the short term, so you want to bank your energy and then then start having it apply at a higher price. So there's a lot of really cool mechanisms that will you know come into the strategy part. So all right, we already talked about battery capacity. Again, buyback and earn, I touched on that as well. The buyback and earn, again, you know, even if you are, you know, again, this is for the fudsters out there that aren't happy with, you know, change. You know, we are not making you or requiring you to buy any batteries. I mean, you know, you can essentially, and again, when I said you have to, if you want to break up your microgrid, you will need a battery. But if you just want to sell your whole microgrid at once, I don't think we're going to require you to have a battery for that. And so any of the people that migrate over from DAAS or any of the other contracts that, you know, they've been involved in, they can just, you know, let the BBE work and then sell their microgrid altogether. So again, nobody, the reason I bring all this up is that nobody is held hostage. And yeah, it takes a couple more steps to sell or dump. But that's okay. If you're gonna leave the ecosystem, you know, we want you to do it in a responsible way. And now there's guardrails in place that no matter how you exit, it is responsible. So really, again, bullish in terms of the longevity of what we're doing. So all right, LA, do you want to read this part real quick about the sacrifice or yeah, how to deposit?
Yeah, for sure. Let me get down. Yeah. So how to deposit into Fusion. That part, right?
Perfect. Yep.
Yep. In order to participate in Fusion, you'll need to sacrifice into the central grid. This will automatically generate your microgrid NFT. This represents your ownership share of the protocol and will be displayed on your dashboard in US dollar value. There are 3 ways to deposit into the Fusion ecosystem. Number 1, sacrifice into the central grid with your EMP, EMP ETH LP, ESHARE, or by depositing directly into Fusion using BNB, ETH, USDC, USDT. Number 2, buy energy or marketplace points with eShare, Microgrid. Number 3, earned energy can be used to facilitate the buyback and earn BBE function, which can build up your ownership of the central grid, which will build up your ownership of the central grid.
Perfect. So yeah, those are the main 3, and again, we're gonna go into this in a little bit more detail in the Q&A section. But everything within the Fusion ecosystem is priced in USD. So you know, one of the questions, and again, we'll get into it specifically, but one of them is essentially, you know, how are we giving away the peg bonus when there's only so much EMP in existence? You know, we're not giving you 10 times the EMP within your microgrid. What we're doing is we're honoring the future value in terms of dollar value or USD. So, you know, we use another term in the white paper called points. And again, your sacrifice points are equivalent to the dollar value, not necessarily the EMP that's going into the central grid. So, again, we'll get into that a little more specifically, but I just want to touch on that while we're talking about deposits. And, you know, for those of you that actually attend the AMAs and pay attention, I'll drop some more alpha here. We are letting people sacrifice with BNB, ETH, USDC, or USDT, but you're not getting any of the bonus applied to that in terms of the peg bonus. So, and this is not financial advice. Again, everybody is welcome to do what they want, but if you use that BNB, ETH, USDC, or USDT and actually buy EMP first and then sacrifice the EMP, that will give you a much higher multiplier, again, because you're getting that peg bonus. So that was another question I saw was like, you know, it's not fair to the EMP people if we're allowing people to sacrifice with stables or blue chips. But I would argue the opposite, that if you have EMP, you're getting, again, as of today, like a 10x in value. So it's a way that we're taking care of, you know, all the people that have been here with us during this transition. So, all right, let's move on. We talked about cashing out, again, the batteries, splitting your positions, or sell your entire microgrid. all through our marketplace. And again, we're getting a 3% fee on all the marketplace transactions as well, which is a revenue stream to Fusion. And this is the NFT marketplace that we, hope to be having the same sort of volume as maybe an NFT trade or some of the other, OpenSea. Maybe not quite yet, but we have big goals in mind. But it will be Fusion in and of itself is a NFT marketplace. So we'll be able to list other NFTs on there. Again, the microgrids and batteries all on this marketplace. And the fees go right back into the ecosystem. So just like you own a part of the bridge or DEX with Sparkswap, you own a part of the NFT marketplace by owning or being in Fusion itself. So, all right. Anything you want to add to that, LA, or as we get into the sacrifice, we pretty much went over that as well. Those are some of the assets we're allowing to sacrifice. Anything that has to do with EMP, again, whether it's just liquid EMP or EMP ETH, or EMP ETH LP from Detonator, all of those will get the peg bonus. So
Yeah. I feel like there's just a few things we need to go over in regards to the sacrifice.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
So the fact that EMP ETH LP is identical to EMP in regards to the sacrifice, that's the first one. So we can cover that.
Yeah, so I'll do that real quick, and then yeah, just do a quick fire that I as we go after that, so I'm not forgetting anything. But yeah, so again, there's been a lot of talk about, well, I'm gonna unpair my EMP ETH LP and just use the EMP, or even buy ETH or use my ETH to buy EMP. I mean that would be okay. What we don't want to have happen is that you just break your EMP ETH LP and then keep the Ethereum side and just sacrifice your EMP. Number one, it's not as healthy for the protocol. Number two, you're only getting half of your LP value because it's half EMP. So there's two ways to do it. The first way is a lot more complicated, like I said, where you break your LP and then buy EMP with the ETH side. So to avoid all that, you can just sacrifice your LP directly, and you still will get the peg bonus based on we treat that ETH side as EMP, because again, if you were to break it and sell it, or yeah, sell and buy, then you're getting more EMP anyway. So not to overly complicate it, that you can do both liquid EMP and LP at that 1-to-1 peg value. So does that explain it, LA?
Yeah, and just to drill that home, all you have to do is take your EMP ETH LP out of the farm, and there's going to be one button to press to sacrifice your EMP ETH LP, and it will literally be treated identically to sacrificing liquid EMP. So if you have $1,000 of EMP ETH LP, you will be credited the exact same amount of sacrifice points if you had $1,000 of liquid EMP. And so there's absolutely no reason to break your LPs and go through that extra step, which would take more effort, more gas, more time. All you have to do is withdraw from the farm and sacrifice it directly, and you'll be credited the exact same amount. You'll get the 1-to-1 peg value, and it'll be the exact same. So
perfect.
So
yeah,
that's
100%. Drive it home, because again, I still think there's confusion on that. I mean, the literally the best thing you can do in getting ready for sacrifice is buy EMP and sacrifice that, or build your EMP ETH LP and sacrifice that. Those are the two, in terms of what's best for the protocol and giving you the most reward. Those are the two main things. So, all right, awesome.
So there's a question about ESHARE today, and I did answer it in written format, but I want to kind of drive it home in this section. So when you're sacrificing liquid ESHARE, you have a couple options. You can sacrifice your ESHARE and use it to build your ownership percentage of the central grid. And so what happens is you are sacrificing your ESHARE, you're building up your ownership position of the central grid, which means you're earning more energy on a daily basis. That's one option. Another option is to buy power packs, which means that you're sacrificing your ESHARE. And if you're sacrificing more than one ESHARE, you're actually getting a bonus deal for sacrificing that ESHARE. And you're basically trading your ESHARE in for energy, aka marketplace credits, I think we called them.
Yep.
And you can use that energy to purchase anything that's being sold in the marketplace. So you can purchase batteries, you can purchase user positions, you can purchase power-ups. What you cannot do with those marketplace credits is cash out into stable coins. What you can't do is then use those marketplace credits to then turn around and sacrifice to the central grid for a peg bonus. There's nothing you can do to cheat this system the way that we have it set up. So I just wanted to amplify that and make it known because that was a question that came up today. You have two choices. You can sacrifice to the central grid. That's one side, and you can sacrifice to turn your ESHARE to energy by purchasing power packs. That's your other choice. And that means that you're able to use that energy to purchase things from the marketplace. So
Perfect.
that's that section.
Yeah, well put, LA. And again, just to drive it home one more time, the way you can look at power packs is very, very similarly to like in-game purchases. Those of you that play, Candy Crush or Modern Warfare, any game really, they all have, their in-game credit or for buying skins or power-ups or whatever. That's is the same concept. So we are giving you a little bit of a bonus when you're buying power packs with the eShare. But like Ella said, that isn't something that you can then turn around and cash out, and it will only be able to buy things in the marketplace, other NFTs, batteries, etc. So yeah, it's a really key distinction, and it eliminates the ability to game the system. And well, I don't know, I don't think we put it in the white paper for this round, but in a future white paper, there will probably also be timeouts, meaning you can only buy one power pack a day, or there'll be some time restraints on some of these things that will further protect any sort of gamification or exploit, I guess is a better word, that could hurt the economics. So but yeah, great explanation, LA. Cool. And I
Cool.
think you go over that too in one of your videos too, right?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and if you want a further explanation on every single part of the ecosystem and how it applies to the sacrifice, watch video number 6 of the explainer video series, and it goes for 9 full minutes on every single part of the ecosystem. The last part that I wanted you to touch on is just the fact that when it comes to nodes, Detonator DAAS contracts, Sentinels, Defenders, you are not sacrificing your entire position. You're simply sacrificing any claims that you make, and there is not an option to sacrifice your entire position, although in the future there will be an option to sell your detonator position.
Yeah, so you said it great. Let me scroll down and get to nodes first of all. So literally anything that is a secondary contract within the ecosystem, whether that is nodes, we'll talk about UpEMP. That's a little bit different, but not really. And so nodes, DOS, any of the secondary contracts in the ecosystem outside of our farms, that will be automatically applied to your central grid or again, making you more of a microgrid. And we do that on purpose because now that value is still captured and still given to all the participants, but they're not able to just unpair the LP and dump on our heads. You have to actually sell your microgrid. So let me give you an example. Say that you're making $100 a week in DAAS, any of the DAAS contracts. Well, rather than getting that as LP, you will then automatically have it applied to your microgrid, and you will have $100 microgrid at the end of the week. And so, if you want to continue to, play in the ecosystem, then you just, continually have it build and add up. Or if you just want to exit, then and not buy a Cash App battery, then you can just sell your entire NFT or your entire microgrid and cash out. So, those that keep saying that we're handcuffing or that we changed the rules of nodes or I'm sorry, of detonator or reactor, any of those, we're not necessarily changing the rules. We're just redirecting how the profit taking happens. But we're not reducing your earnings. We're not again hitting you with some giant sale tax. We're just making it a lot more beneficial in the way things are handled. And so, again, with that, that is hopefully going to recover those secondary contracts as well. Nodes could be a very great way to build your microgrid positions, or DOS again. The whole idea, and that's another thing I just want to make a quick point. Everybody says is so focused on, can I sacrifice my detonator position to the microgrid or central grid to the microgrid. Uh, what you should be asking yourself, or what my goal is that we don't want people to sacrifice. We want to make the DOS contracts so much more attractive again, that it's actually a viable way of building your position through these outside contracts. And that again is the measure of success in terms of our mind, and that is that we have these DOS contracts recover so well with all the new economics that people don't want to sacrifice into fusion. They want to just have it feed their fusion. So again, LA, you want to add to that, or did I cover it? And then we can talk about UpEMP.
No, you got it.
All right, cool. And yeah, UpEMP again is just a little bit different in terms of that. It will be sacrificable, just like Liquid EMP. But we're going to be waiving the fees. So if you what you don't want to do, or if you're again, I'm trying not to use good and bad actor today. I get in trouble every time. But if you're not interested in going into Fusion, and you just want to redeem your UpEMP and sell it, you can, but you will be hit with those fees, which is bullish for everybody else that's holding UpEMP, because that goes up. And so we may see that happen over time, and not everybody is going to sacrifice into Fusion. And again, that's okay. We've said this also many times. There will be some volatility, of people selling and leaving, but that can only happen once. And so, we'll have this slow march back to peg because people will be selling and other people will be buying to sacrifice. And once they buy to sacrifice, then that EMP can no longer ever be sold, which is so, again, bullish. So, you can use UpEMP however you want, but just remember, if you are just going to redeem and sell, you're getting hit with taxes. But you can just sacrifice UpEMP right into Fusion, and you will actually avoid that tax. So it's another way to incentivize you to just sacrifice every bit of EMP and every EMP product that you can. So yeah, LA, does that help? And again, we're still applying the peg bonus too. So
And just a reminder, because it's been quite a while since we've spoken about it, but that tax or fee, whatever you want to call it, the 20% or even the 8% deposit fee, it's not a tax just for the fun of charging a tax. As a reminder,
For sure.
that's what causes the price to go up. And the only way the price can go up is if there is a fee charged. And so why not penalize the people with short-term mindsets and help the people with long-term mindsets who want to go into Fusion and thrive by waiving those fees if they want to directly sacrifice into Fusion?
Yeah, 100% LA. And again, thank you for correcting me. I use the term tax and fee interchangeably, but they are very different. And to LA's point, anybody that got into UpEMP, you knew the rules. So again, we're not changing the rules. We're not adding this fee, this mint and redeem fee out of nowhere. Everything is and was clearly explained with UpEMP. If anything, we're giving you again a bonus because if you sacrifice it right into Fusion, you avoid that redemption fee. So yeah, it's again, we've done everything we possibly can to do right by literally every person ever, and I can't even begin to say how many other protocols don't do that. And it was I mean, I can't, we spent so many hours brainstorming on how to do right by everybody, how to make this work, how to be fair and still, transition from our old model to the new model. So, shout out to all of you that behind the scenes that had a hand in helping with that for sure. So, all right, and bonds again, just to clarify, that's very easy. A bond is just like liquid EMP. You get the 1-to-1 ratio. So anybody that was a really good actor and an amazing supporter of the ecosystem that purchased bonds, they are rewarded for doing that, and they're rewarded the same way you would be as if you just would have bought EMP and held it. So extremely fair, if not more fair than just being able to redeem those bonds normally in the old system. So all right, LA again. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but what other stuff should we go over?
I think we should hit up the FAQs.
All right, good idea. So yeah, all these again, all the secondary contracts, sentinels, defenders, detonator, DAAS, all of these again will be applied to your central grid and in turn your microgrid. So yeah, we can go to FAQ. All right, let me go back up. Hang on. All right, perfect. All right, you want me to just go through all of them, or is there a few that you had in mind specifically?
Oh, before we do that, I'd like you to go over the multipliers.
Okay, yep, we can go back to this. Okay, right here, perfect. So again, on top of everything that we just thought about, the peg bonus, the, sacrificing directly in, there is also on top of everything a what we're calling a early sacrifice bonus as well. So it's broken down into the amount of hours after the official launch. So the first 24 hours, again, we're trying to be fair to everybody around the world, but we want to make sure that there is this, urgency to sacrifice. So the first 0 to 24 hours, you're getting a 1.25 bonus uh, percent on your sacrifice points. So it's not a game-breaking bonus. Again, we're not talking 2, 3, 4x. We're talking, 0.25% bonus. And so again, that is, a way to kind of move things along. And it goes down by 0.05% for every day thereafter. So again, you can see the breakdown here. And that just is one more way that we're trying to get everybody to sacrifice immediately and reward those of you that have held, this entire time and built your bags to get ready, and you invest in your investment. You're here, you're paying attention, you're listening, you're helping where you can. You're not, asking when peg. So those of you are the ones that we want to be able to give this additional bonus to. But again, any newcomers, it's not a unfair advantage either. So, all right, is that what you want to cover, LA, or anything you want to add?
No, I want you to get more specific into it and what those percentages actually mean to people and what kind of percentage they're looking at per day, just to be very crystal clear about it.
Yeah, so like the math, or you like just to continue, like give an example.
For example, if
Yeah, go ahead.
I
You
like
had.
just based on some comments and stuff that we've gotten today in the YouTube. So, if I sacrifice in the first 24 hours, does that mean I'm getting a 25% bonus?
So no, you're getting a 0.25% bonus. So
Exactly. So
yeah,
that's I want you to go over it because there's a lot of confusion about this. So I want you to be really crystal clear about what those percentages mean.
yeah. So if you had if say hypothetically, again, just based on the math, if you had 1,000 uh uh um sacrifice points, you would be getting, what is that? 1,025 sacrifice points. So you're not, again, not 25% would be 250 additional points. So no, it matters because, again, if you have a large, and even if you don't have a large, any bonus is great. But it's not game breaking or unfair where, we're giving people this inflated uh, bonus that then, hurts new users coming in later. So yeah, 0.25%. So the easy way to do it is to just multiply it by whatever you can kind of do the math in your head on what sacrifice points you'll be getting, and then multiply it by 1.25, and then that will give you the first 24 hours, the total. So sorry, LA, that's much better. Is that what you wanted, or I can go in more? But yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure you clarified that that did not mean that it was a 25% bonus, because I have not only seen some comments in the YouTube tonight, but I've seen some in the chats too. So I just wanted that to be really crystal clear.
For sure. Yeah. So again, it's a, 1.25. If we it would be, there would be no one in front of it if it was 25%. And again, it's just based on your actual sacrifice points. So it's a nice little bonus, but not game breaking. So all right, awesome. You want to go to FAQ now?
Yes, let's scroll down.
All right, and then you want me to read all these, or was there a few to highlight? There's not that
Let's
many,
see.
but I can. Yeah.
Not all of them. Okay, so we already went over that.
Is there an affiliate program? No, I love that one. Again, the money has to come from somewhere. So if there is an affiliate, that's usually coming out of the revenue. And, obviously we are going to partner with, influencers and marketing and do a lot of our own, marketing without an affiliate. So that's, again, part of our
Yeah,
mantra.
the big
Yeah.
one that I probably want you to go over is the last one, honestly.
All right. Can you transfer energy between wallets? No.
Nope.
So yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
The very last.
Oh, the very
FAQ.
last. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. But on that note, no, you cannot. So yeah, you'll need to, again, play it within your own wallet, and then. All right. So the very last one here at the bottom. This one, LA. How is the EMP team able to credit users?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how is the EMP team able to credit users with the 1-to-1 peg bonus on their EMP and EMP eats LP sacrificed? All right, again, please, everybody, listen to my voice. First and foremost, it's important to understand that EMP is not paying out anything to achieve the peg bonuses. Instead, it can be looked at as more of a futures contract, again, compared to traditional finance, where we're honoring the future price of EMP at peg. So this is accomplished in many ways. We are essentially eliminating the selling pressure on EMP by encouraging people to sacrifice, and the more that do sacrifice, the less selling pressure over time, as well as reducing our liquidity. We're also simultaneously reducing the liquidity, which makes it easier to push the price of EMP back to peg. Then, once peg is reached, we will transition into protocol owned liquidity, deepening our reserves at the actual peg ratio. On top of all that, anytime EMP slips below peg in the future, users, again, you all, will be incentivized to buy EMP under the exact moment that happens under peg, because you're essentially getting a discount. So sorry, I kind of ad-libbed there, but again, you're getting more sacrifice value or a discount on the EMP they are buying. Lastly, we'll be able to uh, divert some protocol fees / revenue, especially in the early stages, to help regain peg, even without any new users. Again, that's extremely important. Hypothetically speaking, all of these mechanisms combined will allow us to essentially guarantee the future value of EMP at the 1-to-1 peg ratio. So, LA, again, you're great at summing it up. Do you want to go ahead and make that a little more simple? Go ahead.
I think just pay attention to what's written there because it's completely transparent and exactly the answer. I don't really think there's anything I could add to that.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, and just what I said a little bit earlier, which I know people are getting confused on with the peg bonus, you're not getting additional EMP. You're getting a future value in USD price. So if you can wrap your head around that, I think it really simplifies it. And again, this is all the mechanisms that make it possible in these 3 paragraphs. So, there are no smoke and mirrors. There are no, shenanigans happening behind the scenes. It is what it is, and this is why and how we're able to do it.
And just to circle back to the multipliers, because there was some confusion still, the whole point that we were trying to make is the actual percentages listed in that chart are the actual multipliers. If it says 1.25%, if it says 1.20%, if it says 1.15%, 1.10%, 1.05%, that's what it means. It means it's a 1.25% bonus. It means it's a 1.2% bonus. It does not mean that it's a 25 and a 20 and a 15% bonus. If that was the case, that would say 25%, 20, 15, 10, 5. That's not what it says. It says 1.25. It says 1.2. It says 1.15. Those are the percentages of bonus. And so pay attention to what it says in the chart and don't read into it to what you want it to say. That was all I was getting at in that section of the AMA. So let's not read further into it. When we do math on the fly and whatnot, it's sometimes misconstrued. Pay attention to what's written in the chart because those are the percentages.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. It's not a big bonus. And again, we do it on purpose because we don't want to dilute future participants, but we do want to give some incentive to get it in. So, again, those that are around and paying attention get the biggest bonus and within the first 24 hours. And, it slowly reduces. I mean, we're only talking, what, 5 days, 6 days? So, you know, there won't be an issue at all if you are not around for a week anyway. So, all right, yeah,
I'll tell you one thing, if I'm already getting a 1-to-1 peg bonus and I'm getting an extra 1.25% on top of that, I'm a happy camper.
yeah,
And some power packs on top of that. Hell yeah, I'm a happy camper.
totally, 100%.
Plus, I get the juiciest APRs at the very beginning because I'm one of the first people sacrificing. Hell fucking yeah.
I love it. Absolutely, LA. Yeah, and that's another really important, again, LA just dropped some unintentional, or maybe it was intentional, alpha. Remember, if you're sacrificing early, and this is something that, again, I don't think a lot of people are understanding. The other bonus, so to speak, that is an unwritten bonus, is that the earlier you sacrifice, the higher your peg bonus is. Because I guarantee you that, and even now, I mean, we've said this many times that, yes, right now it's almost a 10x on the current price of EMP. But I can literally guarantee that as soon as we announce a date for Fusion, uh, that EMP price will start moving up. And once that happens, you're getting less and less of that, quote unquote peg bonus, because EMP is already moving back to peg. So to be able to capitalize on your position, you need to be buying EMP right this minute. Again, that's not financial advice. Do not, say AJ said to buy EMP right now. I'm simply illustrating the urgency of why and how important this peg bonus is. And those that have been DCAing and accumulating and buying at the low levels, they're going to experience that entire uh, price appreciation in terms of, again, the peg bonus. So LA, you want to add to that, or I don't know. Try not to make it too obvious, but I guess we have to.
No, I think that's it. I mean, remember, especially at the beginning, there's a specific um, imagine it's a pizza and there's a specific amount of pizza, and the more people that go in, the smaller the slices have to be
For
to
sure.
feed everyone. And at the very beginning, there's less people, so the slices are larger. And so the earlier you get in, the larger those slices are. And that's not to say that that's reflective of always, because remember, the way that Fusion works is that there's lots of external revenue streams flowing into Fusion. So there's a very real possibility that in the future, the APRs could actually be better than they are at the beginning. We can't predict that, so that don't take that as fact, take that as a possibility of the future. But as for that first week, we can almost guarantee that the APRs will be much better the first day than they will be the fifth day, just for the simple math of the fact that there's less people and less money deposited into the pool.
Totally. Great point, LA. And somebody please clip my voice about what I'm about to say, because we're way ahead of the launch, and I'm sure people are gonna go back and say opposite of what I'm about to say. But anyway, APR in the beginning will absolutely be fluctuating. And to LA's point, I don't want people to get, disheartened, because I can see the writing on the wall right now is that people are going to sacrifice into Fusion, and the APR is going to be variable, especially in the first few weeks. And there could definitely be a situation where the APR goes down and people get upset because we've, promoted this as the next, amazing DeFi protocol, which it is. But my point is that you have to give it time. So there will be this, beginning period where APRs may be a bit reduced until this flywheel uh, starts up and starts kicking in. And then, like LA said, there there absolutely is this possibility that APRs are much higher, not only from the beginning, but APRs higher than we've ever seen in the EMP ecosystem because of all these external revenue streams. So again, it's about having that long-term vision. Again, please somebody record this part of the AMA for later on, because, and I'm sure I'll say it, but it has a lot more meaning talking about it, way ahead of time. That there will be, this APR fluctuation, and not to panic and get bummed out if the APR is low in the beginning. If anything, that's a way for you to accumulate more as people panic sell their microgrids. And then we can really start pouring gas on the fire. And, by mid to end 2024, when we're, in the middle of a giant bull run, and ETFs are approved and everybody's, high-fiving each other, that's when we could see APR going absolutely bananas in the ecosystem. So, all right, sorry, I didn't want to get on my high horse, but I had to kind of preface all that, LA. So, all right, anything else we want to add?
No, I think we move on to our next section, and then we have a lot of questions for the Q&A, so we should keep it rolling.
All right, give me a minute here while I go back. Sorry, one more minute. I feel like we need background noise. One more second. Thank you, LA. All right. I think we're good now. Okay. So, uh, yes, LA. Where in the notes do we want to pick up? I know we covered a ton. So yeah.
Sparkswap.
Okay. Good. We went through all that. So the MVP we talked about. All right. Everything else we talked about. Oh, and yeah, just so, and that was the kind of the last part before we move on to Sparkswap. I just want to make sure, and that was part of my diatribe a minute ago, to paint a realistic picture, as well. I mean, we're hoping to have at least a date that we can announce in the very near future. But I don't want people to be having this unrealistic expectation, that it may or may not launch by the end of the year. And I know that that sucks. And even now, if we announce the date today, we still need 2 weeks to really market and lead up to the sacrifice phase. So that does put us at the beginning of next year. We're doing everything in our power to move that up, and we're making real headway. But I just want to make sure that we set a real expectation for everybody. And again, that we're not accused of delaying yet again because we still have not announced a date. And we have to do things in a very specific order as well. So, all right. Again, LA, that was just the last one we didn't really talk about. But anything to add to that, or we move on?
Nope, that's it.
All right, awesome. So, Sparkswap, a ton of info on Sparkswap too. So, those of you that again have been around today, or maybe you're just not listening, we have launched a brand new farm. The Spark SDI farm launched today, and this is really important for many reasons. Um, again, we have a full breakdown of why, but just to go over it, this actually adds more liquidity to Spark without having to rely on Pulse. So the reason that you want to have both, your liquidity paired to a price appreciating asset and a stable asset is that the stable asset really adds a bit of a floor to your value, and the price appreciating asset gives you still all the upside potential. So having two forms of liquidity again make the token price that much more resilient as well, and it opens up some other really cool opportunities. So um, we're able to have a triangular arbitrage between Spark SDI, Spark PLS, and then DAI SDI. So all of that is super beneficial. And again, the more farms that we add, the more swap fees that we earn as well. So all Spark native farms will be fee free on top of it all. So again, Spark PLS and Spark SDI have zero withdrawal or deposit fees as well. So all of this is really, really beneficial and another step in our ecosystem. And the APR in those farms have been super juicy as well. We don't really know where it will settle. Obviously, we're hoping to have the PLS Spark and the Spark SDI the highest paying farms, because it supports our ecosystem the most. So, but yeah, really awesome stuff happening, and again, another step in the direction, and this gives us even more volume. So, having Spark PLS and Spark SDI now, as part of our own DEX LP, we're getting even more volume. We broke 100K in daily volume today, and all of that is fees that is generated from swaps going back to Sparkler and the protocol. So really bullish, and for many, many reasons. Uh, there's again a lot more features even from last week. By doing this now with Spark PLS and Spark DAI, SDI, we're opening up more routing as well. So you'll be able to bridge, hopefully by the end of the week, you'll be able to bridge right into PLS, which, for new users that need gas, it's a must. So the bridge is just killing it as we continue to add more features. All right, anything you want to add to any of that, LA?
No, other than that, it's super bullish, and we keep making these advancements. And I think that it's great. It just is putting us more and more on the map and stabilizing us as, the go-to choice on Pulse Chain for bridging, for swapping, all the things.
Yeah, totally. And we did go through some, routine maintenance over the weekend. The bridge will go down every now and then. Uh, 9 times out of 10, it's out of our control, meaning it's a node issue or an RPC issue. But we also released some updates that, over the weekend that have been really killing it. So I think the bridge was up the entire day today and functioning very fast. Again, there was some, delays, I know. And when we say delays, it's so funny to me because the original PLS bridge, you were lucky if you got your transaction in a half an hour or an hour. Our bridge was 45 seconds and is 45 seconds. And when it takes more than 5 minutes, we get people that say, hey, uh, the bridge is taking more than a minute. So again, it's all relative. And I appreciate those people giving us a heads up if there is something that needs to be looked at. But everything has been flawless. I mean, even if the bridge is down, um, it'll either A, not let you do a bridge, or if you're in the middle of a bridge and it goes down, you will be refunded on your destination chain. So, funds are never lost, even during, a downtime. It's just it may take a while for it to process. So, all right.
I do.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Uh, if you are someone that's actively using the bridge, please do practice a little patience in messaging admins or reaching out to admins. If it's only been 5 or 6 minutes or 8 or 9 minutes, please just wait a little bit longer. There is that 1 hour grace period. So if you do reach out, that's what I'm going to tell you, because typically you'll receive your funds a whole hell of a lot sooner than that. But by chance that you don't, it'll be automatically refunded to you within that time. For any reason, if it's not, that's when you should reach out. If it's been an hour, you haven't received your funds, you haven't received a refund, then there's something we need to look into. And definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Just make sure you're reaching out to one of the official team members or admins. And you can do that by clicking on one of the pinned messages or checking out the label in our chat bubbles.
Yeah, perfect. There is no bridge, support. So don't get scammed. Don't try to connect to bridge support. Just, put it in the public chat and somebody will get to you. But yeah, please be patient. I mean, an hour, is the grace period. Obviously, we appreciate a heads up, but no need to panic or get worried if it does take a bit longer. All right, awesome. All right, some more housekeeping. If you haven't already migrated your Spark PLS, please do so. So that was the other major rollout over the weekend. And of course, we picked the most congested day we could have, but it's our luck. So we migrated the Spark PLS LP, the main LP pair from Pulse X over to our own DEX. So now all the Spark LP is on our own exchange, and this is so important because again, we're getting all the swap fees, we're able to centralize or consolidate our liquidity under one roof, and it allows us to route a lot more efficiently. And there will no longer be, again, after a few more weeks, there won't be a V1, V2 swap. There'll just be Sparkswap. And that is so, again, user friendly moving forward, where you don't need to know 10 different things um, to be able to interact with the protocol. And on those new farms too, just another bit of news. We haven't turned on the zappers yet. So I know a lot of you have been saying that the zapper isn't working. Uh, Hopefully that will be ready tomorrow. So if you are, migrating, you will get a pop-up on your home screen. Again, if you don't have Spark PLS LP, then there's nothing you need to worry about. So a lot of people were like, I didn't get a pop-up. Well, it's because you don't have Spark PLS. So if you have Spark PLS in the farms, you will get a pop-up automatically. The migration script is working flawlessly now that the congestion is better. So just follow the steps. It's a total of 3 approve and submit transactions, and it will migrate your LP from the old Spark PLS to the new Spark PLS. And if all else fails, you can do it manually as well. But again, use the migration script, and then if you have a problem, get with one of our admins, and they'll help you do it manually. But all of it's been moved. I mean, we moved literally $1 million of LP over the last 3 days. So I think there's only about 100K left in the original Spark PLS LP. So the vast majority of everybody that's listening or hearing my voice did it perfectly. And so with that now too, we also migrated Sparkler. That was able to be done automatically because it's a contract. So and not a farm that you're putting your funds into. So that was migrated automatically. There's nothing you need to do with Sparkler other than reapprove the contract because technically it's a new contract. And all of your pending rewards, all of your stakes, everything will be is and has been migrated one to one perfectly. So and now you're earning, and this is another really bullish thing. So the Sparkler is now making and earning and producing Spark PLS LP under our own LP. So anybody that wants to sell Spark or move it around, we're getting the swap, all of the swap fees on that now. So that is again just continually feeding Sparkler rewards. And I know it was a really good day in Sparkler today too. We had a massive payout earlier today. So again,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead, Ellie. Yeah.
no, I was just saying totally. It was a big day.
For sure, and a lot of the payouts are automated, but there are some, while we build liquidity on our arbitrage bots, and some other, revenue streams that we will inject manually in the beginning. So that's why you see a spike in rewards every now and then that's out of the ordinary. And if we have a particularly, busy day on the exchange, then the rewards will be higher as well. If somebody bridges, 100 grand through the bridge, then that's going to be a better day for Sparkler as well. So just trying to clear up any FUD of why, the payouts change on a daily basis. That's the beauty of real yield. It's just dependent on the volume. And another really bullish announcement with our friends over at oh my God, Speakeasy. There you go. Kirk and our friends at Speakeasy, they had a group raise for Sparkler, and they ROI'd today, which is just so bullish. So the funds they gathered, they put it into Sparkler, and they ROI'd in about 100 days. So it was an
That's
average.
good.
Yeah, isn't that amazing, Elliot? It was an average of 0.9% daily on their returns, which again, we have basically achieved an average of the Holy Grail, 1% a day, without any Ponzonomics or, or inflation or anything. It's all real yield, and that is just so incredibly bullish. I mean, if you're not excited about Spark and Sparkler, I don't know what to tell you. But all right, and then
Before
yeah,
we,
go ahead, yeah, absolutely, go ahead,
sorry,
Ellie. Yeah.
before we move on, we didn't have it on the notes because it kind of happened after we made the notes, but the pools.
Yes, so again, we've been very transparent about this as well. The emissions have to come from somewhere, and we've been saying literally for the last 2 months that, or more even, that the pools were going away. So the emissions have been taken mainly from the pools, the single asset pools, but as a compensation, we've removed the withdrawal fees. So literally, and we have on-chain data to prove what I'm saying. The 99% of everybody in those pools have made their fees back, uh, or more. So again, I know that getting into that and having it go away is not the greatest, but nobody has actually lost in that uh, situation. And we not only did we remove the fees, but we disabled deposits for new pool entrants at least a month ago. So, again, anybody that says, "Well, I just got into the pool yesterday and now, there's no more APR," is BS because we disabled deposits, like I said, about a month ago. So, we've done things as fair as we possibly can. But yes, all the pools, single asset pools will be going away. So that being said, we may see a hit in the TVL of the protocol because there's about a million and a half dollars in those two pools, which just shows, how many people uh, uh, are in the vampire pools, and which will no longer be selling Spark. And again, I know I'm being very generalization here. I know a lot of you that were in those used it to feed Sparkler. But now you can go into some of the other farms and earn 10 times the amount. Especially in the Spark SDI pool, you're earning almost 20 times the amount in yield. But anyway, yes, the pools are going away. Nobody should have been screwed, and that's just more emissions for the other farms. So, is that anything to add to that, Ellie?
Yeah, it's every single one of these moves is super bullish, and we're heading in the right direction.
Perfect. All right. All right. I know we're running long here, so bear with me, everybody, but we just had a really incredible day and a few days of announcements. So, two more partnership announcements. So, again, we've been a lot more picky with our partnerships lately. And really, all of these are either direct use case partnerships or bridge partnerships. And so the two that we're announcing that we have announced, one has not been officially announced, but from our side, but we're waiting on the link. But the number one is ERS. So ERS is a reflection protocol. Eternal reflections is what they go by, and it's a proven team. We've been working with them indirectly for a while now. They have already implemented a reflection token with Glass, which is another project that's near and dear to the Spark ecosystem. Um, and so, we've been talking with the dev. He's a very talented dev. He has a great amount of drive. We like to partner with protocols that are always building. Um, and they exemplify that. So Troy, he's a great guy, and so yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming. This new token again is the Pulse version, and it reflects Spark and Glass. So you buy the token, and part of the fees buying the token um, go to buy and reward Spark and buy and burn Spark. So it's really cool. Again, the taxes are high. I mean, I've been very transparent that I'm not a fan of high tax, reflect tokens. But if it's used to reward users and actually burn Spark, we can't help but be bullish on that. So Again, you just need to join their Telegram. You can buy this ERS token, ERSP, I think it's called. Make sure you're buying the Pulse version. And then you get Spark and Glass in your wallet passively just for holding it. And this just launched yesterday, and there's a lot more coming. He's going to be building a farm as well. So again, not financial advice, and never, with any of our partnerships, don't ever liquidate your paying positions within our ecosystem to get into the new shiny object. Um, we simply bring this up as a way to diversify and bring profits back home to Spark, and bring awareness to teams that are not rugging or doing things maliciously, that actually are trying to do some cool stuff. So, all right, so that's an ERS partnership, and Warren Finance. So, again, they are the new bridge partner. So, Warren is a Carol fork on Pulse. Again, Carol Finance, for those of you that know, it's a very unique bonding system where you actually bond some LP, and then that LP is what earns you the token. So you can't really buy the Warren token or Carol, whatever it was, and dump it. You have to actually farm it with these bonds. So it had some great success. There's even some more bullish alterations to Warren, and we have a relationship with their team. Again, Moonshot Max is the figurehead and their dev, as well as their graphics guy, Nomad and Math. We go way, way back, and I can tell you they're not scammers for sure. So, yeah, I'm excited for that too. Hopefully, there'll be a lot more volume through the bridge. Part of our arrangement as well is that they are going to be investing some of their treasury into our farms as well, specifically the S farm, most likely, because it's stable. And then, that will help bridge the two communities as well. And I'm personally invested, and if you are wanting to get into Warren, when we do the official announcement, we'll have a referral link. So just hang on until we post that, and use my referral link if you haven't already gone in, because all the referral rewards will go back to Spark. So we'll just buy Spark with it and create LP for the Sparkler. So, all right, I think that really, again, is the big updates. Uh, LA, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's it. We do have quite a lot of questions though, so shall we dive into those?
Yes, so on to the Q&A. Yes, go ahead.
So we are going to start with the ones that were submitted early on Discord. And just a note for those of you for next AMA on Thursday, if you want to ensure 100% that your question gets answered, make sure to submit it early, either days before or early in the day of the AMA, to make sure it's early on the list and it gets answered, because if we run out of time, sometimes we save them for the next time. So here's the first one. What happens when a battery is full or power cycles and you're not there to cash out? Would MG start reinvesting into your grid, or would it start filling up the next battery? What if you had only one battery?
Yeah, so again, there are some very minute details that may change, so I'm just going to preface that with everything that we say, it is subject to change, but this is the point of having either multiple batteries or uh, a larger battery capacity. So if you do have a battery that fills up, um, again, we've gone back and forth on this, so it may change, but the idea I think is that it will not automatically go into your BBE, because we want to incentivize people to get batteries or more than one battery. So I'd say to have at least a minimum of two batteries, because then when one does fill up and you're not there to, initiate the power cycle, then you're not actually losing out on rewards because it can just go right into filling the next battery. So again, there's a little bit of minutia there, you know, uh, that may change. Originally, we said that it would just go into your BBE, but I think that the new plan is to actually, again, further incentivize multiple batteries or a larger battery, to make sure you're getting every bit of, you know, energy out of the rewards.
Awesome. And then also remember, we've mentioned this, but you can arrange your batteries and prioritize them and allocate certain percentages of your energy to certain batteries. So there's a lot of ways to play the game. And say you're planning on being, away on a vacation or something, you can strategize before you leave by choosing the allocations of your batteries and, choosing your strategy based on what your highest priority is.
Totally. No, that's a really good point. And that's again something that we really wanted to get away from the original ecosystem and listen to everybody's feedback. We don't want anybody to be, you know, beholden to a particular time schedule, i.e. detonator. We got a lot of pushback on that. That's, you know, fundamental to how that contract works. But the point is that we didn't want to add more barriers to uh, anybody. So, like LA said, even if you are going on vacation or have a trip where you won't even be on the computer for, you know, a week, 2 weeks, and you don't have a lot of extra funds to buy, you know, a giant battery for when that happens, you will have little toggles that you can allocate your, to your, the way the energy is accumulated. So, you know, and maybe again, if you're going on vacation, just turn off all your batteries and then everything goes into the BBE, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you want to extend your trip, shout out to Joe, extending his cruise for another week. You can do that. So, oh,
For
Florida
sure.
Joe, we love you, man. So, all right, yeah, right, LA. Again, anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Couple more things on that. Two other options. You could pay to upgrade the capacity of your batteries before you left on vacation to make sure they hold more energy. Another option, as we've mentioned, there's going to be a battery that is a power bank. So it's meant to just hold and store energy for you that can be used in multiple ways down the road.
For sure.
So many options, and you could have that toggled on to start accumulating when your main cash out battery fills, that's the secondary one that starts accumulating. Like there's just so many options, and you'll get to see when you start how you want to play the game. So second question, how are things coming along for Sentinel rewards?
Yeah, so again, I just tried to get an update from Jake, literally right before the AMA. Unfortunately, he's still working on it. The issue is, and again, just to give everybody as much transparency as we can, when he originally built that contract, there was not a function to be able to update what tokens are rewarded. I mean, again, we build things to be as trustless as possible. But the double-edged sword of that is if there's an edit, then it's literally having to relaunch and rewrite some of the code. So unfortunately, it's taking a bit longer than we had hoped for. Jake, our lead dev, is working on it. But you know, that's not also something. It's something he has to do. All of the original contracts, both DOS and Sentinels and everything in the original EMP protocol, Jake built from the ground up by himself, and it's a lot harder to educate other developers. I mean, now we have an incredible dev team that Jake, is the head of, but uh, it's a lot harder to educate other developers on pre-written code base. So it really is something that he has to do himself, but there's only so much time in the day. So the short answer is we're working on it, and hopefully it will be ready ASAP. But in the meantime, again, the silver lining is all of your rewards are accumulating. So, you know, I know it sucks to not get rewards, but you will be getting them just in time, for you to use them, hopefully. So, yeah, again, just bear with us on that front.
Also, just to clarify on that, I've seen a lot of questions about will Sentinels be turned back on when Fusion launches. The Sentinel rewards are not in any way linked or contingent on the Fusion launch. The two things are completely separate. And when the Sentinels and everything AJ just described is finished, then they will be resuming.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely, LA. We will not delay any sort of updates because of Fusion. We want to get it done ASAP. It's just there is a very packed development schedule and a certain sprint rollout that we have to go by, and obviously Sentinels is on that list, but we just don't know when it's going to be finished.
For sure. Okay, next question. Any chance the batteries can go into the new trading bonds?
Yes, so I love this question. This is something we get a lot, and yeah, we absolutely have intentions of having a trade yield battery. So what that will look like is, when your battery power cycles under the hood, that energy is then sold and converted into dollar value, and then that dollar value is put into your ownership of a bond. As of right now, there are no bonds available other than buying off the market. But once Fusion is here and we roll out, an actual trade yield battery, we'll have a more permanent solution. But yeah, that's absolutely one of them. I know, other partner protocols, and that's a really cool part too, is that it opens us up to partner with literally every project out there in a non-predatory way. And what that means is we can approach you know, even somebody that considers, competition. Like, again, I don't consider any project competition, but I know a lot of our communities involved in EMP.Money. So we would have an elephant battery where you can allocate rewards from your battery to buy elephant. And again, that is such a marketing play because what other protocol would not promote us for putting buying pressure on their native asset? I mean, again, it's just such a win-win in this whole situation. So yeah, I'm really excited for that because I think that will help us scale, tremendously with within DeFi and crypto as a whole, as we continue to be the Robin Hood of crypto projects.
For sure. Okay, this one I think you'll be really excited to talk about. So you guys all saw within the white paper how there's this ability to sacrifice directly with blue chips and stable coins. So there was a question about what are the pros and cons of this, and will this be something that dilutes existing holders?
Yep, so another really good question. The pros and cons, I mean, I went into it a little bit already. I think there's a lot more cons than pros, meaning, this is just an option for those people that maybe don't know about EMP or they have a big bag of stables that they want to put to use and get into a protocol. They can just sacrifice directly. But under the hood, that those assets are used to buy EMP. So why not just buy EMP yourself with that asset and get the peg bonus? I mean, again, it's about knowing the rules to the game and how you want to play. And again, that becomes a lot less of an issue as we get closer to peg because the sacrifice is ongoing. And so there will be a point where, maybe it's the same value to sacrifice EMP or sacrifice stables. And we can again accommodate anybody that based on their preference of how they want to get in. So yeah, does that answer LA? I don't know if you want me to go into more detail on
Sure.
that, but yeah.
And to be quite honest, a lot of people don't read white papers or take the time to understand fully how things work. And they may just swoop in and, sacrifice in and see a juicy APR and ape in
For
and
sure.
be like, oh, I've got USDC, let's fucking go. And maybe that's what they decide to do. And they have no idea that there's even a peg bonus. And that's very likely to happen at least a handful of times.
Totally.
And that's to everyone else's benefit because, like he said, under the hood is being used to buy our protocol tokens. So
Yeah, and that's why it doesn't dilute. Again, the value, everything all of you should know by now. Literally everything has to come from somewhere. So it's not about diluting. If if we're giving a bonus, it has to come from somewhere. I mean, granted, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. And so with that, we would obviously never want to dilute our current participants by offering something that could even have a remote chance of doing that. So the EMP has to come from somewhere, and that's again another really bullish thing because there is only so much EMP in existence, and after fusion, even now, every day there's less and less EMP available, and so that will do wonders for the price of EMP. And when we're overpeg or getting close to being overpeg, then the protocol can sell some of that EMP to the market without ever hurting anybody. And that is how we will continually feed rewards into Fusion. So again, the system is just such a better economic model. It's just incredible. And it doesn't hurt anybody because, as long as we're at that one-to-one peg, again, EMP could be $1 when ETH is $4,000. That is, where it's at. And if we're close to peg, then, like I said, maybe it does make sense to just sacrifice USDC and let the protocol do what it has to do behind the scenes. And then when we're below peg, then that's when you would buy EMP at a bit of a discount and then go in. So, again, I really don't want to use the word algorithmically pegged token because we're not that, but there are definitely some similarities in a much more healthy way where we would never ever get into a Luna situation because we're not printing any more EMP. If anything, we're burning more EMP. EMP is deflationary. So, super bullish.
yes. Okay. And then can you remind everyone what is happening with Cultivator?
Yes, so this is another question we see a lot. Again, we've said many times, but it's up to everybody that it's code on the internet. So no matter how much we tell them not to interact with it, people still do. But we made an announcement a few months ago that we took a snapshot of Cultivator. And so anybody that was involved in that, again, in our eyes, that is a failed project now. And so we will be crediting you in based on that snapshot. You will be credited the dollar value in sacrifice points from or to your microgrid. And again, that money is actually coming from my personal funds as a way to make good on what we said we would. So it won't dilute anybody, and it won't come. We're not again manufacturing the dollar value. The EMP will be there to back up what the snapshot is, and it's coming from personal allocation. So is that what you wanted, LA, or any more you want to add to that?
For sure. I think that some people notice that that is not included on the white paper in regards to how to sacrifice into Fusion. So just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that will happen automatically again. And then moving forward, like I said, Cultivator is essentially dead. So you won't be getting any, residual because everybody will be made whole. And then we'll just literally delete the contract. So
For sure. Okay, next question. Quick question on power cycle. If we burn part of a power pack to complete a power cycle, then claim, will the battery keep accumulating immediately, or is there some kind of limit? Basically, what I'm asking for those of us who have been hoarding ESHARE for over a year, what is the responsible way to take some profit?
yeah, so the responsible way to take profit on eShare is literally just sell it. That's the cool part. I mean, obviously you can maybe, squeeze a little more blood out of the orange or juice out of the orange if you do, use a power pack to get marketplace credits at a bit of a bonus, then buy an NFT or something that you want from the marketplace and then turn around and flip that, then potentially you can sell, quote unquote, sell your eShare without actually selling it. But that's a lot of gas fees and a lot of work and a lot of speculation. So there's no right or wrong answer, but the beautiful part is, with the way the ecosystem works, it really, it doesn't really hurt those that do want to take some profit. Now, obviously, when we're going to keep liquidity closely monitored because we don't want people, dumping a giant bag of eShare, tanking the price of energy, and then, now we're going backwards a little bit. So there will be some stopgaps in place to avoid that. Um, but remember that the other stopgap is there will be constant buying pressure on eShare. So, even if people do take profit, then, we're hoping that between all the revenue streams, because in order to reward people in Fusion, we have to actually buy the energy outside of any of the emissions uh, to make it happen. So this hopefully will hit this equilibrium of people that do want to take profit, um, and then the revenue streams are supporting the price, and even actually having again that gradual stair step upwards where eShare will appreciate in value. And then remember, eShare is on a halvening model as well. So once you sell it, that's it. Like again, you there could be a lot less eShare in existence, and therefore push the price up just organically that way as well. So, I'm not here to give a strategy or financial advice. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer the question, LA? I don't know.
It does, but I'd also like to tackle the first half of the question.
Okay, for sure.
I worded in a confusing way. So I just want to clarify. When you are purchasing a power pack, it's a one-time bonus on sacrificing multiple eShare. And so depending on how many eShare you're sacrificing, you're getting a certain percentage of bonus. So you're exchanging eShare for energy, which essentially are marketplace credits. Those credits allow you to purchase anything in the marketplace. You're not burning anything. You're purchasing items in the marketplace. So that's the first clarification. So if you were to purchase a power up, that is what we went over a little earlier in the white paper, but a power up is what helps your battery power cycle immediately instead of waiting for it to fill up. Now, to answer the first part of the question, after your battery fills up and you manually when your battery is full and you manually, if it's a cash out battery, say for example you manually cash out, yes, once it goes back down to zero, it will start accumulating right away again. So that kind of answers the first part of the question, just to answer that as well.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. And again, I mean, when we're talking about this abstractly, it does get a bit confusing, but I promise you, when you're actually doing it in the UI, it makes a hell of a lot more sense because there will only be a few options that you can even do in terms of power packs or power ups. And so, and there would never be a situation where you can buy something or cash in the power pack and then immediately turn around and sell it for actual energy or eShare. Obviously that would be an exploit. And so that's when I mentioned a little bit earlier about even implementing a time frame. Um, because again, you have to have your battery. Your battery has to cycle to begin with. So even if you're using eShare to, help boost that power cycle and get it immediately if the token is pumping. Again, there's a lot of strategy behind that. I spoke about that in another AMA. Maybe ETH is pumping like hell, and you want to buy eShare so you can power cycle your ETH battery, cash out, and sell that ETH when it's high. That would be a really next level strategy in terms of, again, how this all plays out. So, there's many ways to interact. And so, but my point is that you're never going to be able to just, buy it and then turn around and sell it immediately in terms of actual energy. So power-ups definitely, are the closest thing to that. But then your battery has to fill up all over again. So, depending on how big of a microgrid you have, that could take days or weeks for it to even be ready again. So, yeah, those are just all variables to consider.
For sure. Okay, if batteries cost energy and energy is essentially eShare, how will using energy inside Fusion affect eShare outside of Fusion?
Yeah, so again, everything within Fusion is determined based on dollar value. So whatever eShare is at market price, that is the market price of energy. And everything is priced in dollars, not in energy or eShare. So again, it's much easier in terms of, oracles and math to make sure everything in the whole ecosystem is calculated in dollar value. So if eShare goes up in price, or there's more buying pressure on eShare from the revenue streams than selling pressure, then your energy is actually has much more purchasing power, than it would if it's down. So there's still that, speculation on, maybe I wait and buy a battery next week when eShare is higher or lower. Again, there's another gamification aspect of actually speculating on the price of energy and eShare as well, to maximize your gains. And it's bullish because in that situation where you would wait a week to get, eShare at a higher price, um, that is a week that you're not selling the energy or the eShare are cashing out. So, you're actually incentivizing people to hold a little bit longer, which over time, could have benefits to the price. So there's just a lot of little tiny things that add up to be significant in terms of price.
Totally. Okay. We have 3 more questions. That's going to be our cap for the night. So any other questions will be saved for next AMA on Thursday. Okay. So is Fusion going to be similar to Detonator in that we are competing against other participants to get higher rewards rather than getting a percentage of our deposits?
So yes and no. The main answer is no. Detonator is yes, you're competing for pool share, but that pool share is fluctuating dramatically because we're giving away, uh, lottery rewards, we're giving away largest depositor bonus. You know, um, in the beginning, EMP was inflationary, so that was diluting the pool share as well. Um, so the short answer is no. The better comparison is Sparkler, where, there's only, again, just, I got in trouble earlier for trying to do math on the fly, but there's only about 60 million EMP in total. And so, you're only competing with the total supply of EMP. So, again, if anything, there's going to be less EMP available as we start burning it too, or burning more of it than we already do. And so that is a fixed number that will never change. There will never be more EMP after fusion. So all you got to worry about is competing with people. And again, it's even another level deeper because some people aren't even going to sacrifice to fusion. So there could be a lot of EMP, especially in the beginning, that people want to sell, and that's okay. But over time, all of it gets absorbed through to fusion. And so, and LA made this point earlier, like say maybe only 10 million EMP goes into fusion in the first, week or whatever. If you had a million EMP in your microgrid, you'd be getting 10% of the rewards. And so, that's another reason to sacrifice early, and then over time, as other people get in, then yeah, you will definitely be diluted, but there will be a maximum that you can be diluted because once there's 50 or 60 million, again, account for lost wallets and everything else. So let's just call it 50 million. Um, that will be your share in Fusion, and so the only way to gain more share is buying it from other people. And again, that does wonders for the price of EMP and the growth of the protocol. So yeah, again, there's a lot going on. So I'm trying to speak specifically, but also be kind of bigger picture.
For sure. Think of it like Sparkler, but with even more additional revenue streams flowing into it.
Totally.
Okay, two more. Is the liquidity of ESHARE also moving to protocol owned?
Yes, 100%. And we will, especially in the beginning, we will be actively increasing and reducing the liquidity, as the protocol, determined. So, in other words, if there's a ton of volume, on energy and everybody apes in and we're doing gangbusters, then we'll be able to increase the liquidity. And if we hit a lull and there's not a need for a ton of liquidity because we're trading in a range, then we can reduce the liquidity. And this is bullish because it's very capital efficient. And all this will be done with a smart contract, so nobody's managing your funds for you, or funds as a protocol. Um, and so, but what that means is like, if we don't, say we don't, if we only need $100,000 of liquidity and everybody's able to buy and sell eShare as they wish, but yet in another situation, we had $1 million of LP that was just sitting there. It allows us to use that $900,000 discrepancy to yield more fees and more, whether it's through trade yield or providing liquidity elsewhere and other tokens. I mean, we're able to use our treasury funds to actually create more revenue for the protocol. So moving to protocol owned liquidity, not only is it safer because we're not reliant on a whale that just wants to break LP and leave, but it also makes it way more capital efficient for us to earn.
Totally. Okay, last question of the night. Can you explain how Node APR will work within Fusion?
Can we explain Node APR? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, so again, I mean, Node APR, this is going to be a really tough question for me to answer because, if nobody goes into nodes as a speculative play to increase their microgrid, position, then the APR will just continue to go down in nodes. So the whole idea is that, again, it's another part of the gamification where, and we have some plans. Again, we're not going to give away everything of what we have in mind, but the whole idea is that, we're going to rectify the issues with DAAS, and then we can also rectify the issues with the other, contracts. So, originally part of the inflation was what was feeding nodes. Obviously we don't have that inflation anymore, but if we're killing it and everybody's making killer APR, and we have excess funds, in the kitty or in the treasury, then we can absolutely bolster the node payouts, and so now nodes become attractive again, because it's another way to add to your microgrid, and then people deposit into nodes, and then that whole cycle kicks off again, and now nodes are attractive. So again, and this is all hypothetical. I mean, we could see nodes just continually go down, and then maybe we say, you know what, nodes, we're gonna retire nodes because there's no more EMP left, and nobody wants to go into them anymore. So that's another option. I mean, we can't really predict the future, but we're gonna do everything we can to make right by the people that got into whatever they got into.
For sure. Okay. I did want to just do some housekeeping before we kind of do our final remarks and do any wrap up, and just kind of give you guys an overview of our AMA schedule over the holidays. And so we're already at the 18th of December, and both AJ and myself and quite a lot of you celebrate Christmas and New Year's and whatnot. No matter what holiday you celebrate, happy holidays, by the way. But that being said, we do have an AMA this coming Thursday, which is the 21st. But the following 2 Mondays, we will not be having AMAs. So those fall on the 25th and the 1st, which are both holidays. So an easy way to remember it is the next 3 Thursdays, we will be having AMAs. The next 2 Mondays, we will not. So just join us on Thursdays for the next 3 Thursdays. I will
love
say
it.
like Ben.
Yes, that could be our new. That sounds like our new catchphrase. So, oh man, that's funny, LA. So yes, Thursdays it is. And yeah, again, happy holidays to all of you. Whether you celebrate, Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. Hanukkah's over, I think, but Kwanzaa, Festivus, a Festivus for the rest of us. Any holidays. I hope you guys have some family time, or at least unplug and get away from the computer. I know the holidays can be hard on a lot of people too. So if you ever, want to send me a DM, and you're not a scammer, feel free to do that. We appreciate each and every one of you being part of our community and helping this to be as successful as it can be. And yeah, lots more alpha. I know, again, we're on 2 hours now, so we're gonna wrap it up. But we did have some headway with L1 Dex. That's one thing we didn't really mention today. We had a pretty productive meeting on last Thursday. I mentioned it in that AMA, so we'll give some updates on that. I know a lot of you have been asking about experts and staking and putting it in L1 Dex instead. So we're gonna do our best to give some insight. Obviously we can't tell you what to do or give financial advice, but that will be coming as well. And I think Thursday too, we may have a special guest from Warren Finance, Moonshot Max, maybe on. So by then we should have the official partnership announcement, and those that want to know how to participate can wait for that AMA on how to get involved. So. All right, I think that was everything, LA. It was a doozy today, but man, we went over a ton, and I think based on, I know in the beginning it looked like there was a lot of confusion, but the last few comments, I think people are really starting to get it, which every day that we convert another believer into Fusion is another good day for the protocol, right?
Yes, that was a bullish AMA, and you guys even got a couple F-bombs. I mean, it's been a good day. 2-hour AMA. I mean, we're doing well here.
Totally, LA. Yeah. So, all right, awesome. Well, any final words? Anything you want to leave with these lovely people, and then we can wrap it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I know, especially around this time of the year, it's extra precious. So thanks for carving out a chunk of your day or your evening to be with us. We love and appreciate all of you. Just take this time of the year and all year, but especially now, to really remind yourself of how appreciative you are of all that you have in your life, especially the people that you have in your life, whether it's one or two that are really special to you or a whole lot more. Never take that for granted. And all of you here are on that list for us. So thank you for being here. And we're really looking forward to everything we're building together.
Amen. Absolutely, LA. Again, it's important that we use these times to reflect on how lucky we really are. I know that it can seem hard sometimes, but This is why we're excited for our financial freedom. I know that much. 2024 is shaping up to be an absolute killer. We saw Bitcoin try to dump today, but nope, it came right back up. So that is a great sign. And with the impending ETF approval, we're poised incredibly well. And let's all be thankful for being the early ones, the 1% of the 1%. So, and again,
Ooh,
all of that applies to our ecosystems too, right, LA?
yeah, I was just gonna say over family time, I've had more and more family members asking me about crypto. And I remember you telling me and all of us that's how you know the bull is coming when family members who never showed any interest in crypto start to
I love it.
ask and
Yes,
pay attention. So it's a good
totally.
sign. It's a good sign.
Yeah, no doubt, LA. That's the truth. But when grandma asks you how to buy Bitcoin, then that is the top. So there you go. But no, family members being interested is definitely the sign of an incoming bull. So, all right, everybody. Again, much love to all of you. We will see you. Well, first of all, please on the way out, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, smash the like button, and we will have notes on this AMA as well. I know it was a very long one, but make sure you check that if you don't want to listen to all 2 hours, but you should. So, and if you made it this far, you have. So, all right. Much love to everybody. We'll see you on Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. And then, like Ella said, the next Thursday, Monday is a holiday. So, all right. Good night. Good day. We'll see you on Thursday.